Hello, this is Lily Sanabria, excited to welcome you to Raising Leaders Module 2, Influence Insights. As we learn to raise leaders, it's important to know and become the types of leaders we want our children to become. It's that quote from Gandhi, right? Be the change we wish to see in the world. Be the change we wish to see in our children. I tell you, nothing can prime our leadership more than being a parent, and that's both challenging and beautiful. As we discussed in Module 1, we know that leadership is about influence, nothing more, nothing less. And in this module, our objectives are to review the influence inventory of Module 1 and to reflect on some powerful influence insights. In Module 1, we looked at the influence inventory, which helps us take a pulse on and be intentional about growing our leadership skills. Remember, this isn't a one and done inventory, it's something we should revisit often. So let's review this. 1. Who do you influence? Remember, you attract and influence who you are, not who you think you are or who you want to be. How do you influence others? This will determine how many, how long, and how effectively you influence them. We have a relatively short window of opportunity to do this with our children, and then there are many other influencers that can come into their lives. Being intentional about growing in this area is very important, so keep moving forward here. How many do you influence? The number of people who follow you is based on your level of influence. So the more effective you become as a leader, the more people you influence. So not only will you influence your children, you may even influence their friends. When do you influence others? Our value and significance rises when we influence at a time when it is needed most. Consider the times when your son or daughter needs you the most. How do you respond to them? That's what they will remember. And when we blow it, and we will, they will also remember when we take responsibility, apologize, and grow. Why do you influence others? This will ultimately determine what you do. The right motives are so crucial. Our children have an uncanny way of seeing our motives, even if we try to put up a good front. Where do you influence others? The position doesn't make the leader makes the position. We can become our children's greatest influencers, not just because we are their parents by title, but because we parent them well. We lead them well. Let's look at some influence insights. We know that leadership is about influence. Here's a quote by J.R. Miller from his book, The Building of Character. There have been meetings of only a moment which have left impressions for life, for eternity. No one can understand that mysterious thing we call influence, yet every one of us continually exerts influence, either to heal, to bless, to leave marks of beauty, or to wound, to hurt, to poison, to stain other lives. That's pretty intense. Let's consider what kinds of impressions we want to leave on our children as we move forward. My influence with others is either positive or negative. Now, words are powerful. How we use them will make a difference in how we influence our children. Our influence is usually not in all areas. For example, I can influence my son about how to best put on a presentation. But I have zero influence with him as far as music is concerned. He's musically talented and I am not. So when I need a good playlist, I ask him for help, which adds value to him, and my influence with him grows. With influence comes responsibility. There are people whose well being and destiny are within a leader's influence. This is true of our children. We can't escape that fact. But too many leaders want the perks of leadership without paying the price of leadership. When we lead, we take responsibility for others. And as parents, we have the responsibility of leading ourselves well so that we can lead our children well. Our influence can grow, but we need to be intentional about it. So reflect on which areas you want to grow your influence with your son or daughter. This may take a while, and you'll find that some things that used to work no longer does. So we need a different plan, right? That's growth. Getting advice from others you trust is also valuable, and be prepared to be wrong. And when you are, it's great practice and a great example to apologize quickly and make things right. People of positive influence add value to others. Here's a quote by Benjamin Fuller. The purpose of our lives is to add value to the people of this generation and those that follow. That lands as a parent and as an educator. We add value to others when we truly value them, not as we want them to be, but who they are right now. When we know and relate to what they value. If we constantly criticize the things our children value, they won't feel valued by us. Consider this. What if we learned more about the things they value? How could that increase our influence with them? When we make ourselves more valuable. How? By growing, learning, connecting, by being the change we wish to see in this world. Our children watch us carefully, and they will remember not just the words, but our actions. Find some quotes that inspire you to grow in this area. Share them with your children. Have conversations about how these quotes land on your hearts and minds. This is the end of Module 2. Make sure to go to our Facebook page and share an insight you got from this module. Ask a question or share a quote that speaks to you. It's been a joy to serve you, and I'm looking forward to Module 3, our last module in this series.